Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you the Jedi were the bad guys from a certain point of view? For this is a Fred Alien Productions podcast.
Yes, this is what it's all leading up to, finally, in the 6th episode of an 8th episode run.
Yeah, slow burn, slow burn. It's fine, it's fine. Cue the music.
I don't know what we're yelling about! We came, we saw, we kicked its ass!
Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me you built a time machine? Kind of a DeLorean?
The way I see it, if you're gonna build a time machine into a car, why not do it with some style?
Who is this? What's your operating number?
Boring conversation anyway.
Look, we're gonna have company! Loud noises!
Hello,
Hello.
I'm Kendall Richardson.
And I'm not fully a Caramager, but I'm Michael Lister.
And you are now experiencing a podcast called Fred.
Yes, experiencing it through the mediums of hopefully my internet will stay on this time.
Fingers crossed.
Stupid internet. Stupid internet.
Stupid internet. Oh, well, thank God it's working right now for
Thank
you.
God
Mike.
I'm here.
Yes, thank God you're here.
Brought to you by Naughty Dog. Local reference. Yay.
Nice. We love it. We love it. Yes, so as you will have noticed, dear listener, dear viewer, Fulya is not with us this evening. Long day for her today. Long day. So she's feeling a bit sleepy, so she's not going to be joining us. That being said, I'm also quite sleepy myself, so I'm going to do my best to get through, and we'll be fine. I'm not concerned. It's fine.
We're all fine here now. Thank you.
Yeah.
How are you?
How are you? Who is this? What's your operating number?
Boring conversation anyway. I know that reference.
You know that reference?
That's from Paul.
Ah. Yes.
Yeah, Jason Sudeikis shot out his radio and he said boring conversation.
Yeah, it's definitely not from a Star War. No.
Who'll watch
Why
that?
would it
Nerds.
Yeah, no. But yes, Fulya has left us a bunch of notes. Thank you very much. So she's going to still be with us this week. So let's just kick things off with the weekly watchings and Fulya's weekly watchings. She says, more MasterChef catch up, still miles behind. Oh, she's not saying how many episodes behind she is either. So I wonder if she's gotten closer or if she's just eternally dragging on. But that's okay, Fulya. That's all right. She continues to say, X-Men still holds on strong for me as well. Nice. That's excellent. Excellent.
Excellent.
Excellent. I also got the chance to watch a movie this week, and that was The Muppets Take Manhattan.
Hey.
She says, what a great film. Really enjoyed it. And then that's it for me, friends. Have a fun podcast. Thanks, Fulya. Thank you. I would really like to know more of your thoughts on Muppets Take Manhattan. So maybe next week we'll ask you to go into it a bit more, even though it'll be a week later and most of the movie might have left your brain by then. But that's fine. That's fine. That's okay. I want to know if you cried.
Let me know that you cry. Do you cry every time?
You cry every time. And did you like seeing a diner run by rats?
In New York, of all places.
In New York, of all places, exactly.
Pizza
yes.
Rat.
It's on brand. Yes. Thank you, Fulya. Thank you. Mike.
Yes.
Your weekly watchings. What have you been checking out this week?
Well, I've been checking out little bits and pieces. I'm up to, I've just done today episode 100 in the One Piece. So I've just clocked 100.
Nice.
900 more to go. Actually,
Woo.
another 1,000 really, because they're up to another 100 after the 1,000 It's never ending. Not sure if they'll ever find that One Piece. But yes, it's where I am is where the second season of the live action is going to take place in Alabasas. And yeah, I think there's like another 30 episodes to go until the maybe conclusion of this saga. So it's getting good. It's really good, and we're getting more involved into the thing. So that's good. But what's been making up most of my time is this week on Netflix dropped the movie of Beverly Hills Cop 4.
Yes.
Axel F. Yes. So, as I've not really seen the other three, I watched them all this week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I'm quite surprised that I haven't watched this sooner because I absolutely love the first two.
Great.
The third one was hit or miss. But that's it is what it is. But you have to watch the third one to get why he's got a child now. So can't have everything. But I will say the first two quite a bop. I mean, I really I know it's ironic because everyone knows the theme song of Beverly Hills Cop, Crazy Frog and shit like that. But the overall soundtrack to this is an absolute bop, and I really love it.
Yeah.
So quintessential 80s, but it's bearable, like techno 80s stuff. And I love the fact in the newer one they sort of don't shy away from it. They do have those sort of they do have sort of those synths coming in, but still a modern take, which I really enjoy. And Nas X actually does a version of the theme with lyrics, which is quite interesting. So I really enjoy it. And the fourth one, I haven't seen Maverick, the Top Gun sequel, but I'm expecting it's a bit like that, like a good legacy sequel to it. So I do enjoy the fact that it is like 40 years of actual Foley, and they don't really shy away of each character being like that old now, and it does show, but Eddie Murphy is still with it. He's still quick witted, and it's just it's absolute joy. I actually laugh at it, and it's like, wow, this is great. It doesn't really skip a beat. Like, yeah, he was like 22 when the first one came out, and he's now 62. Dare I say? So and yeah, it's sort of the editing around of like you can't really have an old guy like doing all this stuff, but it's still captivating, and some of the action scenes are still like amazing to watch, even though I sort of half watched it on phone and as well as TV because my internet cocked out and I wasn't sure. I was going to watch it on Friday, but that's when everything happened. I thought, shit, I wanted to watch Beverly Hills Cop. No. But I had to wait until today, and I watched it in my lunch break. So, not all of it, but I finished the rest of it when I got home, and I really enjoyed it. And and the guys that come, the original guys that come back, and it's great. I would recommend it if you enjoyed the Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2. Skip 3, but but number 4 was a good romp. And I highly recommend it. So I could probably just leave it at that because I also watched the Boys as well as House of Dragon, which is of course my weekly watchings at the moment, as well as Acolyte. Yes, that's for later.
That is for later. Yes.
What about you, Kendall?
Yes, well that's I haven't had a chance to watch the new Beverly Hills Cop film, but now I'm really interested in checking it out. I've seen.
There's one flaw.
Oh.
The main the main sort of emotional stakes in this is Axel Foley and his relationship with his daughter.
Mm.
Hit or miss, and the actress that they have, I've never seen before, but she's done a couple of things. And I never like saying this, but her acting is not to be desired. So
She leaves much to be desired, does she?
yeah,
No.
not up for the emotional stakes there, considering what they were trying to go for. So, having said that, still enjoyable action wise, as well as hey, they did the thing, you know. The member berries, even though I remember it from the start of the week. So,
yeah,
yeah,
that's great. Okay.
Otherwise, it was a good dad movie.
Nice. Cool. Well, yeah, no, that's good. I'm glad it was good because I've seen the first film a few years ago. I don't remember much of it. I remember enjoying it because I really like Judge Reinhold. I think he's great. Like he's always a kind of an interesting presence. Like he was kind of prolific character actor in the 80s, like this kind of young guy. Looks like a Steve Gutenberg offcut. Like but he's just very witty and charming, but he's good at playing jerks as well as playing good guys. Like he has a nice balance between the two, and I like him in the Beverly Hills Cop movies, movie that I've seen. So I was really glad that he came back. But yeah, I'm now that you've given it a decent review, I might take the time to check it out and maybe watch number 2 first.
Yeah, number 2 is good.
Yeah,
it definitely hit the same beats as the first one, and it was great. It's just to sit down and watch.
Nice.
I'm not the right person to say this because of who I am, but watching the first one, I had an inkling that Axel was probably a bit gay.
Okay.
Because there was no real love interest. And
No.
the main purpose of him going to Beverly Hills was the death of his friend. And he's doing it for his friend. But definitely a bit of queer coding with their relationship.
Wow.
Like if you do a rewatch, it's like, and you're watching it with like the modern audience now, where you're seeing very queer coded everywhere. It definitely has that sort of feel because because his friend in the bar before he gets knocked off, spoilers, but he professed his love to him, but it's like friendly. They were trying to go for
I love
friendly.
you, man.
Love you, man. But they sort of held on to it, and it's like, oh, hello.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah. So I thought maybe, and then the third one came to, and then they gave him a love interest, and I thought, oh, okay, fine.
He
could be bi.
He could be. He could be. All right. Well, I'm
I mean, he does when he's doing his sort of undercover sort of acting thing. He does tend to go a bit, a bit campy, very, very easily and very quickly.
Yeah.
I thought,
all right. I'm definitely gonna have to go back and watch the first one now, with a different lens on it. That's cool. Yes, so I haven't watched that, but I have watched, of course, House of the Dragon. Yeah, good episode. The internet seemed to be a little divided on the episode from what I saw. I thought it was great. Not a lot happened, but there were some pivotal kind of moments, I thought, in terms of, what's going on with Aegon and Aemond and their, Aemond, I don't know what happens in the book, but I feel like Aemond's about to cut Aegon's head off at some point. or he's going to switch sides or something now. I don't know. That's kind of interesting. What they're doing with him, and yeah, and then the whole weirdness with Damon going to Harrenhal and kind of having this ghostly visions and.
You see this? This is mine now. I thought that was freaky. I was thinking, holy shit, what are we doing now?
Yeah, because I love that. I love that scene where, he walks in and he finally finds someone alive within the dilapidated castle, and then he proclaims it in the name of Rhaenyra, and then I really loved the couple of scenes we got at the dinner table where he's like refusing to eat or drink anything because he still doesn't trust these people, even though they've sworn, they've given in and they've sworn allegiance to Rhaenyra, but like the way they're talking and how they're reiterating that sort of impotence of, he's like, I'm the king, and they keep calling him prince by mistake, and there's this whole thing going on with that. That was interesting. But anyway,
never be king. Only the queen's concubine.
Yeah. Some interesting stuff going with Damon. And then I kind of really enjoyed the scene with Rhaenyra having the balls to actually go to King's Landing and see Alicent and have that discussion. And
it's a bad habit.
So but yeah, I liked the scene. I thought, I read one article that reviewed it that said it was out of character for both of them, especially Rhaenyra, and I was like, I don't think so. I don't know. It felt like, Rhaenyra was like, if I go to Alicent, I can convince her, and they've been setting this sort of up, like both of the women don't want a war, but they are surrounded by these bloodthirsty men that want vengeance.
What? Are you saying there's a bit of man bashing? Man bashing? Is that
no man
is that why
bashing.
the internet's all going?
There
was only one good man. There was only one good man, Daddy Hightower, but he hightowered it out of there.
Yeah, now we've got his son, who's an interesting foil for Sir Kristen, who continues to be the worst. Now he's cut his hair, and I'm like, now I like you less. Anyway.
Well, you like you less now.
He's not giving me any reasons.
Like, I need a scapegoat. You twin, do the suicide mission.
Yeah, he's terrible.
When he did that, I thought, fuck you.
Yeah.
Piece of shit.
100%. 100%. The entire world cried out and said, "You, sir, are a cunt."
You dirtied your cloak. It's like, talk about purity, you figure, you piece of shit.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Now we got Eric and Eric dead. Yeah.
So shit.
Damn.
Anyway, yeah. But yeah, I liked the fact that it was the tragedy of the two of them, Rhaenyra and Alicent, not only still not knowing who Viserys wanted as the heir to the throne, but then two, the whole, like, it's too late. We're too far in this now. War is inevitable regardless. Like, it's not.
Yeah. Damage has been done already. It should have been, the crisis should have been prevented earlier. And yeah, it's just, because I like that tracing back moment of, like, if I can't remember who said it, but it was, you go back from, losing the, Aegon's son, losing Lucerys, losing, Aemon losing his eye, like that, just back and forth, like this bloody rivalry between these two parts of the same family is just, fact. It's fact. But anyway, it's a great show. So I don't get why some people were like, this is not a good episode. I don't know what show you're watching if you're saying that. There was hardly any drags in
it. Yeah. But opinions are allowed. Speaking of opinions, I have one on The Boys this week.
Oh.
Because I mean, it's only just to say that it continues to be really good. Although I don't know, like it took this episode, I will say, took a while for like me to, because there wasn't a whole lot going on, but you know, it was interesting parts
Wasn't a
of
whole lot.
what we saw.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you know, it only had a couple of locations. I mean, yes, we found out the butcher, you know, was hallucinating his
Another guy.
CIA friend, which, you know, was a given at this point. And that he's, you know, basically having to decide to, you know, whether or not to have this dude proceed and make this cure for soups that will just become airborne and kill all of them. That was interesting. And yeah, and then you know, the whole tech night situation. Yeah. The party was very interesting. And I mean, it was good. It was a good episode. I did enjoy it, and I got a big laugh out of a lot of things that happened down in that their basement. Poor Huey needs a break so bad.
Oh, that last scene sort of went, oh, shit.
Yeah.
You're getting tortured for our enjoyment. I'm not having fun anymore.
No. No. And then yeah, and then Firecracker sort of now supplanting herself in a way to make herself useful and indispensable, and you know, playing Homelander. Yeah. Playing Homelander a bit. It kind of gave me some Stormfront vibes. Not exactly the whole way, but a little bit. Yeah, it was a good episode in the end. Like, it took me, like, a lot of stuff happened, and fucking had a heart attack. I'm like, oh, not heart attack, panic attack, but like he had an event. Yeah, he had a serious event, and you know, yeah, that was kind of shocking too. And good to know that you know, if you want to kill Sage, you need to shoot her in the chest, not the fucking head, because of the way her brain works. So that was interesting as well. So,
But a beautiful mind.
A beautiful mind. Yeah, it was good. Couple other things I'll mention before I wrap up. I went to the movies twice this week. I went and saw A Quiet Place Day One.
Oh.
Prequel. The prequel. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It doesn't add anything to the world building of the universe. Like, you don't really learn. In fact, I'd say you don't learn anything new about what happened. You know, you're literally just like, if you've seen part two opens with Day One. They show what happened to, you know, Emily Blunt and John Krasinski's characters, their family, and where they were when the, you know, the terrible aliens came down.
Spoilers for the first one. Hey.
But yeah, but this movie is just that set in New York and it's a short movie. It's only like an hour and a half, so you can it flows really well and whatnot. But yeah, I was just hoping to learn a bit more. Like what's the point of calling it Day One if it's, you know, if you're not really going to do much with it other than show the fall of New York City, but it doesn't really give you anything other than visual spectacle and whatnot. But I don't know. So that was a little but really, I think what makes the movie worth watching, and a lot of people I think are saying the same in the reviews, is just the human story at the center of it. Lupita Nyong'o's character is terminally ill. I think she says cancer. They say cancer maybe at some point, but she's terminally ill. She's in a hospice, and yeah, and she has this cat who is called Frodo, which I thought was very cool. And Frodo just keeps, you know, Frodo behaves. Frodo is a very good cat. And you know, makes it through the movie, just to let everyone know that the cat does not die. But the really cool thing I didn't realize until at the end of the movie, because I don't know, I guess I just didn't click, but Lupita's character's name is Sam. So you've got Frodo the cat, and she's Sam, and I was like, oh, that's... Because it's kind of a journey, like, her character is going on, like, you know, when it happens, she's in New York, and all she wants is pizza. She wants to go to this pizza place in Harlem, and basically, when she encounters Joseph Quinn's character, Eric, who's, you know, this young British law student who's, you know, here by himself, basically, and his parents are back home in England, and he's scared shitless and doesn't want to die, and, you know, they form an unlikely bond, and, she tells him that, yeah, she's going to get this pizza, and so it's them trying to get, you know, trying to get out of Manhattan, but also she's just, because she's like, I'm dead anyway, there's no way I'm gonna survive this. She's like, I just want to get my pizza, and I'm good. But yeah, it's good. Like, the performances are great, and yeah, the human story's good, and there's some good tense moments with so many aliens. So time. If you're a fan of the franchise, it's definitely worth watching, I would say. Cool. And then the last thing I'll mention, only because I went and did something really interesting at the cinema, because this is a movie I've seen before. So I went and saw, there's a movie called Only Lovers Left Alive. It's a vampire movie, indie film, came out about 10 years ago. It has Tilda Swinton and Tom Hiddleston in it. And it's an amazing film. Like, I love it. Not just because Tom's in it, of course, but I think I would love it if it was anyone else. Regardless. But basically, the reason that I went and watched it is because Cinema Nova, this weekend, they were running this series called Scented Cinema. And basically, they had this... they had this partnership with, I think this company's called, was it Black Phoenix Alchemy Lab? And they curated a range of scents inspired by the movie that they released as fragrances a few years ago. But Cinema Nova teamed up with them to actually bring in those scents to have this cinema experience where if you see a number or a character's name pop up on the screen, you open these little, like, vials and you sniff, you know, and get the notes of the characters and the world and the locations, and, you know, it was really cool. I've never done anything like that before, and yeah, the scents were very, very nice. So it kind of added a whole nother level to, you know, the experience of watching a film, and the fact that it was one of my, you know, a movie that I really love. That was just extra special. So I enjoyed it. It was good.
Can you imagine if they did Dogma and it came to the shit demon?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, thank you. No, thank you. No. Anyway, but the cool thing was that, you know, this is, you know, these scented cinema experiences, they're not like, you know, they're done in other countries and other places, but the cool thing is that this was the first time this had ever been done with this movie. So we were the first people in the world to actually experience this film in this way. So I thought that was pretty cool as well. So yeah, good times had by all. All right, I think let's move on now. Let's keep going before I drop off completely because my words are already going. It's time for the nerdy news.
This is the news in Nerdy News. The nerds that talk about the nerdy news. That is us who talk about the news that is nerdy. And now the queen of nerdydom, the hostess with mostest, Kendall Richardson. Take it away, Kendall.
All right, it's nerdy news time, and we're gonna kick things off with some DC news this week. A couple of stories. The first being a really, really cool, lovely thing. It was revealed during the week. I think some set photos leaked it. That Christopher Reeve's son Will, who is actually a reporter in real life, believe it or not, he's going to be making a cameo of some kind in James Gunn's Superman movie, playing a reporter at the Daily Planet. And that's pretty damn awesome. I've mentioned it a million times on this show. I'm a big fan of legacies being honored, in whatever form that takes, if it's cameo appearances, if it's guest stars, if it's recurring roles, if it's just a picture of something in the background. Like it's all good. I love it. And so to see this happen, especially when, James Gunn, I feel like he keeps teasing this movie as sort of a return to uh, the old school sort of Superman style that Christopher Reeve, I guess, was known for in his version. So to have his son Will, who looks so much like his dad, it's crazy. To have him in this, however, in whatever capacity, if it's like, if he gets a line or if he's just in the background or whatever. Yeah, I think it's really, really special. So, yeah, I just thought that was worth mentioning this week. What did you think of that news, Mike?
I think that's pretty cool. And probably like not for the modern audience, probably wouldn't get it. But if he looks like pretty much a spitting image of him, people will go, "Wait, what?"
Where?
Yeah, and it also depends on where they go with it. If it's just a brief cameo, I mean, James Gunn doesn't really shy away from having like little cameos every now and again, just for a wink and a nod. I mean, Howard the Duck, for instance, was fantastic, and
Yeah.
because we weren't sure if we're gonna get Howard the Duck ever again, and now he's in all three movies, including an Avengers movie briefly,
Yep.
as well as the What If series as well. So it's amazing. It's amazing. So
Amazing.
love that. And also some of the behind the scenes, people are snooping at where he's coming down and just a crowd of people just coming around Superman. It's like, yes, this is the Superman that we want. A glimmer of hope and not Jesus allegory.
Yes.
We get it. He fell from the sky like Hercules, like Goku, and all that. We get it.
Yeah.
So, going good. Can't wait for next year.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Can't wait. Superman is going to be in cinemas literally this time next year, basically. It comes out at the end of July next year, I'm pretty sure it is. So, yeah. 12 months to go. 12 months to go. All right. Our next bit of DC news, not as positive, unfortunately. The Arkham Asylum series that was announced a while ago. That was it was originally going to be that GCPD show that was going to be set before the events of Matt Reeves' Batman, that then evolved into an Arkham Asylum series. That's not moving forward anymore. At least not at HBO Max, or Max as I think they call it now. So yeah, that's a shame. But I suppose it was in pre-development, pre-production hell for a little bit. I remember us talking about it on the podcast. It would have been a year or two ago at least. So yeah, so it's sad to see that it's not moving forward. But hey, it might find a new home or new life somewhere else. We've got, we talked about literally last week, Batman Cape Crusaders on Amazon Prime this year. So who knows? It could find a home somewhere else. But I'm not that invested. I'm not that at a loss for this. Like, I'm just like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah. I mean, we've got the Penguin show coming as well soon, and that'll be a good test to see if Warner Brothers and DC can handle doing series, because obviously we found out that Disney couldn't really, because they just overloaded us, and the quality was very mixed. But yeah, it'd be cool to see how the Penguin is received, and then maybe if it's received well, they might go, oh, okay, there's a market for a good quality DC show set in this world, so let's bring Arkham back. So I don't know. Who knows? I'm happy either way. Whatever they want to do. What do you reckon, Mike? How do you feel about this?
It is a bummer because I was somehow looking forward to it, because then you can get away with having a Batman TV show without Batman, and the exciting bit was to go through all the lists of the rogues gallery and all that for Batman, and you can have your Harley Quinn and your Hugo Strange and your Dr. Kane as well, Scarecrow, and all that woven into sort of like a, I don't know, cop drama sort of thing, what Gotham was, but more time wise active within it, without having like Batman as a child, but then you don't have the who created who, the villain or the hero, and they sort of coexist at the same time, except for what Gotham did, where all of a sudden they're all here now without a Batman. Weird. And I'm still sort of interested in actually finishing Gotham. I don't know. Too much stuff to watch.
Yes.
But yeah, I think because Matt Reeves, the Batman, was so good and so popular that they thought, oh, then we can do spin-offs. First we'll do a Penguin, then we do this show, and then all of a sudden they're sort of doing a huge change up with the James Gunn sort of stuff. And I don't know, maybe people aren't, like, modern audiences will go, oh, what universe is this going to be? Apparently Peacemaker season 2 is not going to be canon to Peacemaker 1, so you got that shit to contend with. So so I suppose they probably don't want to get it too messy, and maybe if Penguin is good, they'll probably get a second one, but the way that it sort of feels, they're probably going to do a one and done. And so they're just going to leave Matt Reeves to do this particular Batman and just have Batman movies with the Robert Bat and Bat movie.
Bat.
Robert Bat and Bat.
Bat.
Yeah, so don't want to muddy too much of the waters with that one. And yeah, considering talking about the boys, that Batman is sort of DC's big franchise IP. People know who Batman is. I mean, people do know who Superman is, but not as the same as the Caped Crusader. I mean, there's more Batman movies than any other DC character, so they need to, like, make sure they don't overload us. And we've been having this fatigue now, and they should slow down and do things that are good and things that make sense. And that's why Tech Night was hilarious, because that episode was sort of making fun of DC's best superhero as well as Marvel's best superhero, Spider-Man, and having them together as, you know, debauchery, which hilarious. I showed my wife the cake fart scene. It's like, this is what I've been watching each week. It's like, what the fuck are you watching? Cake farts.
Cake farts.
So yeah, bit miffed, but out of it, it's fine. I reckon.
It's fine. Yeah. Totally fine.
Totally fine.
Totally fine. Great. All right, let's move on to our last item in the news then. switch into Star Wars briefly. I just found this absolutely hilarious. Tamira Morrison, the amazingly talented actor, of course, who plays Boba Fett. He was at a convention during the week at MCM London Comic Con, and he said he would be interested in doing getting some payback, basically, and having Boba Fett come in to the Mandalorian and steal the show. Do an episode that's just Boba Fett related. Yeah, I just thought that was great because he was like he came into my show and stole an episode of my show, so I'd like to do the same thing. Tamira said so.
Come on.
Yeah,
You did the same thing in Mandalorian season 2.
sort of. Yeah,
When you first came in, and it's like, oh my god, this is the best Boba Fett that we've ever seen. Using his rocket knees.
Yes. Yeah, he kind of did, but yeah, like not to the degree I would argue that Din Djarin came in and made an entire episode of Boba Fett all about the Mandalorian. Oh man, I mean it's so it's so hard to be mad at it because it was some of the best Star Wars that
Yeah.
I like. Just all the member berries. It was just great. But yeah, I just thought this was really fun. Good humor of him to say, and yeah, I'd be down for it. I think Boba Fett deserves a little bit of justice for that show, just because it was good. Like it wasn't great, but it was good, and it probably could have been better. So maybe if Mandalorian does get another season of TV, which I don't think it will at this point, I think they're just gonna do this movie Mandalorian and Grogu that they've announced. But if it did, I'd be totally down to watch a Boba Fett episode. Why not? Why not? Mike, your
Yo.
thoughts?
Yeah, just what I said before as well. But yeah, he could have like a cameo in the movie. Story wise, we don't know what, because essentially they both settle down and they're resting their boots until the next adventure. And to what? Don't know. And how is this going to add to the rest of the... We're still calling it the Mandoverse? The little segment in between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens. That bit.
Mm-hmm.
Still sorting that out. Yeah. I would love to see more Boba Fett as Bubba Hutt.
Yeah.
The Bubba Hutt. So,
Boba the Hutt.
this is mine now.
Mine.
I'm going to do a little twirl before I shoot. I think that's awesome. I don't know why. It's so unnecessary, but do it for swagger sake.
Yes.
It's remarkable.
Coolest bounty hunter in the galaxy. He's
Whatever.
got it.
Star Wars is full of stupid shit. And you're having a go at a bit of flair. Yeah. Anyway.
Who cares?
Who cares?
Anyway. Who cares? Alright. That's the nerdy news. Done. Which means it's time to roll on up to the trailer park.
Rolling up to the trailer park where we all park all the trailers. Hee-ha.
Alright, trailer park time. 2 trailers this week. The first one off the rank is another look, a new trailer for Cobra Kai Season 6 Part 1. Cool. A little bit more footage here showing, the merging of basically all of the dojos into one strong dojo. Our heroes and villains working together. Terry Silver's behind bars. And then, of course, John Kreese finds a way. And he's out of jail himself now, and yes, looks like he's settled in another country, probably Japan. And he's training up his own dojo, filled with, corrupted youth, to take down the good guys at the big world tournament that they're setting up this season. So, yeah, it looks great. I'm excited to watch this. I love this show. It's great storytelling. A bit of dumb fun some episodes. Interesting high school drama sometimes, but yeah, it's as far as legacy programming goes, for stuff that came out 40 years ago, it lands. It does a good job. Yeah, I like it. And it looks good. I'm interested to see how the dynamics are going to change up between all the students, now that they're all on the same side, especially Tori and Daniel's daughter, whose name escapes me at the moment.
Daniel's son.
Yeah. Huh?
Sorry, Daniel's daughter.
Daniel daughter. Yes. Yeah, so I'm curious to see how that goes, and Robbie and Miguel, and and at one point Hawk, who I think said he wasn't going to be Hawk anymore. The Hawk's back, and it's looking like the American flag.
Patronage.
Yeah, and then the usual tension between Johnny and Daniel. Communication and one way of teaching versus another way, and yeah, pretty standard stuff. I am looking forward to it. This was a good little tease. It's coming out very soon, so I'm excited. Mike, what are your thoughts on this new look at Cobra Kai?
Yeah, it's good. I do enjoy them, and they're very easily digestible. Considering that I don't really remember finer points of the story, but after watching it, it's like, oh yeah, this is where we are now, and where certain characters are, the protagonists and the antagonists are, and it all involves like a big world fight. So they're taking us on the road. They're going to battle different worlds, and going to Battle World and doing karate.
Karate.
Yeah. And will this tie into the movie that's coming out? We don't know. Probably not. I don't know. Is it its own continuity? We don't know. Is Jackie Chan's character falling from a portal from a different dimension? And Jaden Smith is going, do it, Sensei. Who knows?
Do it.
I was hoping, because I knew this was coming out very soon, that I could actually rewatch all of it, but it looks like I'm probably not going to, because what is the release date, Kendall?
Well, the release date of Cobra Kai Season 6 Part 1 is the 18th of July, so it's only a week and a half from now.
Yeah, almost 10 days. Can I fit it all in 10 days? Well, yeah. At least Netflix has got the you can watch it in extra fast speed. Can I do that?
Don't do that.
Come on.
No, don't do it.
Come on. It's very stimulating with my
good
non-diagnosed ADD or Asperger's. No. Autism. I don't know. Something's wrong up there, but I don't know what.
Yeah.
But it soothes me.
Yes, I can relate. I can definitely relate there. Cool. Our second and final trailer for this week is for an upcoming comedy action film set in the future, the near future. This is called
distant future.
Not too distant future. This is called Jackpot, with an exclamation point. Fulya has some thoughts on this one. She says, some action, comedy, popcorn, fun. This trailer almost sold me, but they ruined the prosthetic reveal. No. That last clip should have been the only clip we got with the face prosthetic on Aquafina. John Cena seems to be having a lot of fun though. He has, as John Cena does. Pretty much always seem to be having fun. Yeah, interesting trailer. Interesting concept for a movie. It reminded me of Guns Akimbo a little. That movie with Daniel Radcliffe. That I still haven't watched. Where basically, like, you're a wanted person, and everyone is going to be trying to kill you, for a lot of money. And yeah, I like this as a concept of like, you've won the jackpot, but if we kill you, then we get your money. Like, that's very dystopian. Very futuristic in the sense of like, society would get to a point where that's a thing. But I feel like it's set too close to now to be believable. I know it's well, yeah, I know. I shouldn't entirely say that just because
2026.
America's fucked.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It didn't work for me, and like it didn't. I wasn't sold the premise being in 2030. Like it just, I don't know. It felt like it should be, I don't know, somewhere else in the future. Another 40, 50 years in the future. Like it just, I don't know. Maybe that's just me getting uncomfortable with it feeling close to home. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But then you get Running Man.
Yeah, true. But yeah, other than that, like, it, like Fulya said, it looks like popcorn fun. I am a big fan of John Cena and Awkwafina. Both very funny actors. Great on-screen presence. Simu Liu is in this as well. Great to see him in this. So yeah, I might watch it, maybe, if the reviews are good. Like, good cast and interesting concept, and yeah, the action could be fun too. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Not entirely decided yet on this, but it looks like it might be okay. We'll see how it goes. Mike, what did you make of Jackpot?
Yeah, sorry, I heard wrongly, and it just made me laugh. Jackpot. Exclamation mark. Yeah, pretty much the same. I like the people who are in it, and it looks like a bit of fun. There's nothing wrong with prosthetics. Sometimes it's funny. It can be funny. But yeah, not too distant future, which, there's not going to be really the sort of 90s, 80s sort of set it in like 15 years into the future, and this is what's going to happen. Yeah, the narrowness of the time window of dystopian is getting ever so closer, and it is getting a little bit like a bit too close to home. I'm surprised. 2022 was sort of my year because that's when Solent Green was around. It's like that's how we're going to solve most of our things, turning people into Solent Green. Solent Green is people.
Solent Green is people.
Yeah, and you can laugh at it. You can either laugh at it or just be worried, and I tend to laugh at it as well as get my gun license. Yeah. Things are going to be interesting for a couple of years with sort of slipping into that sort of things. We just got to make sure we keep our heads and not rely on fear. Not a political podcast, this is.
No.
We're talking about John Cena, just kicking ass. Yay.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Let's get distracted by this movie, which is coming out in...
It is coming out very soon as well. It'll be out next month on Prime Video on the 15th of August.
That's good, because it definitely felt like a streaming
movie.
I wouldn't watch this.
For sure.
I wouldn't watch this on the
Big
cinema.
screen, nah. On the cinemas.
I'm going to leave that for good films. Like,
Yes.
insert good film here.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
That.
Hopefully.
Well,
Yes.
everyone's looking forward to that.
Yes. 2.5 weeks.
I saw an awesome tattoo idea of Deadpool's hand doing that, and the Wolverine hand doing that on the backs of two shins.
That's great.
And you put your legs together and they make a heart.
You make a heart. That's very cute.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I'm not squeamish of needles. I just I can't commit.
Oh yeah, because especially depending on your design, it's a big commitment to a lot of pain.
It's a lot of money. I mean, we're in the middle.
It's very expensive. Yeah.
We're in the middle of a cash flow crisis.
Yes, I know. I have all these tattoos I want to get, and I haven't gotten any of them because it's like, well, got no money.
Got no money.
Got no money.
I much prefer to eat.
Yes, eating and living is good. Yes.
Doesn't
Anyway,
doesn't help when you got dependents as well.
No.
I mean, you need to feed them.
Yeah.
Give them biscuits.
Biscuit diet. All right, that's Trailer Park done.
It is.
We are done.
Dunzos.
Dunzos, which means now
Yes.
it's time
Whoa!
for a galaxy.
Not too close away.
Yes. Far, far away.
Popcorn culture Milky Way.
It's popcorn culture time, and we are going to be discussing our thoughts on the latest episode of The Acolyte, episode 6, which is called Teach/Corrupt.
Whoa.
Very ominous title.
Balance.
Fulya has left us a huge bunch of notes for this, so I'm going to read it out, and if we stop along the way to discuss something, then we'll do that, and if not, then we'll just, do our usual thing. But Fulya says about this week's Acolyte. This episode was very subdued, no action, just talking, and I'm okay with this. We found out some stuff about the stranger's past, like the fact that he used to be in the Jedi Order. I like that there was a conversation from all parties about what has happened and what the future holds. The fact that the stranger isn't holding Osha hostage, but just wants to learn about her deepest emotions to teach her to use the Force differently. I'm also glad that Sol figured out that it was May and not Osha on the ship with him. Took him a bit longer than I would have liked, but hey, it was contained in one episode at least. It was also quite harrowing to go back to the scene of the crime/murder site.
That shot of Jackie is just... Come on, don't do that.
Yeah. Poor Jackie. Last but not least, Fulya goes on to say, that final shot of Osha with the helmet before it cut to credits was chef's kiss. What a way to end an episode. Osha puts on the stranger's helmet. You see her perspective in the helmet and hear a heavy breathing. End scene, cut to credits. Loved it. Well said, Fulya. Yes, I also love that as well, and we will discuss. As for my thoughts, overall, it's very, very funny that one episode last week has just completely turned the show on its head for me, and this episode continued that trend. I mean, Mike, you hinted at it earlier in the podcast. We're in episode 6, and we're finally getting somewhere. It shouldn't have taken this long. It's just, weird episode structure, weird story structure for this show. But, last week and this week, finally kind of getting invested in this story and curious as to where it's going. I really love that we're exploring things about maybe the Sith, but really just the dark side that we haven't really done before. Like a whole different sort of way of looking at it, I guess. and then just trying to figure out if he's manipulating Osha and trying to seduce her, or if he's just being straight up. Like he's very much doing a very kind of, I'm just going to be honest with you and tell you how I see things. And, he's not forcing her or any of that. Like, it's really, really cool what they're doing with that stuff. And I've got a lot more to say about it. And then by the same token, the stuff with, with May and Soul as well. It was interesting. I've got lots of thoughts on Soul and what they might be doing with him. But yeah, it was good. I'm it's so weird because I did not like this show and now I like it, and I'm just annoyed about that because I wanted to like it earlier. But like I'm even having second thoughts about the flashback episode. I still don't think it was an accurate depiction. Clearly something else has happened. Like Soul's hinting at something else that's happened back when they were kids and everything went to shit. So yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's good. It's good. I hope it can stick the landing. I really, really do. 2 episodes to go. It's going to be cutting it very fine. I think so. Yeah, I enjoyed this week's episode. How about you, Mike? What did you think?
This was a good episode, especially after previous episode of such action heavy, and you need that sort of spaced out, paced out sort of. Okay,
Yeah.
where are we going from here? From each character that we have so far, because a lot of killing from last week, and so the main is going to be these 4, as well as maybe what the Jedi are finding out as well. I think, this is an episode that we need, and pointing towards where things are going to go by the end and find out what's going to happen. And it's dare I say, it's the best villain that we've from Star Wars point of view that we've had in a while.
Yeah.
I mean, Kylo Ren had his moments, but wasn't really up there for me. Mando. The
Moff Gideon.
Yes, Moff Gideon. I was just going to say, whatever. He's sort of phasing out from the end of it. It's sort of like, maniacal, cool. But this one, the stranger, is great because you can see him manipulate as well as being one with the Force. It's weird, and we get to find out that he's in his helmet. It's blank, so he was fighting within the Force, which very powerful person. Where's this going to go? And how's the Jedi going to stop him? Or are they going to stop him? We don't know. It's more intriguing now. And the sort of dialogue that he has with Osha and the relationship he had with Mia and the sort of relationship they sort of touched on previous episode with Soul as well. They sort of knew each other without knowing each other, so that would be something interesting to see. So I'm a lot more invested now, considering of these last 2 episodes, which as I said, it's a bit weird for it's almost finishing, and that's why I said like last week or the week before, or whenever I said it, was this would have helped if the Acolyte was a movie and it was all contained. And we don't have to wait the meandering sort of. It's like, where is this going to go? Is this going to be good? I don't know. Or stretch it out so you can actually feel for these characters a bit more, like delve into what are they up to. I mean, Jackie and the others could have been like a bit more of a shock to the system when we finally see them like being taken out in such a way. Yeah, but can't really complain of what we didn't get, but what we do have, and I'm starting to enjoy it. And will it hit the landing? I don't know if it will. It's all to do with are they setting up for more of this series? We don't know. It's sort of the way that Star Wars TV shows are now. It's like we'll do one, see how it goes, do another one, see how it goes. There's no real apparatus to say, okay, we're going to do these many series, or try and get to these many series. Like the boys. Let's go back to the boys of Kripke wanting to do 5 seasons to complete the story, and just hoping that people will enjoy it to that thing. But as they go from one season to another, will this be more cohesive story? I'm thinking like Legend of Korra, like that debacle of doing a series, and then are we going to have a second one? Yeah, we're going to have a second one. And next series, are we going to have a second? Are we going to have a third? Maybe third. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting on how they're going to land, and I'm coming around on it.
Nice.
It's getting good.
Nice. Yeah, it's good. It is good, thank God, because I didn't want to not like this show. Like I think we all came into it wanting to enjoy it, and it just didn't connect with us the first couple of episodes, and then suddenly the show gets to its halfway point and switches. Yeah, really, and then now we're just like, okay, now it's getting complex. Now we're fleshing out characters a bit more, doing something interesting with light and dark and the twins and and whatever's happening with Soul and the stranger, and there's now a lot more to kind of unpack and take in, and it's kind of fascinating in a way.
Like, I was happy with the first couple of episodes of saying, oh, I'm really enjoying the fight sequences in this, and it could be the story, but I like the fight sequences, and I was probably going to be content with that. But no, they're actually starting to turn me around for the story. It's where these characters are sort of placing itself within the mythos of Star Wars, and how the Jedi are not necessarily the good guys, and how they will become complacent, and they didn't really see the rise of the Sith because they were arrogant, and it was all to do with the balance. And I will say this, I think, it was this week that Ahmed Bess was at a con, and he was talking about how he was talking with George Lucas of how the Force was sort of interpreted to a wrong way of interpreting what the Force was. There's not really a light and dark. It's sort of like the light side of the Force is balance, and you need to have like the bad with the good, and that's sort of what the Jedi here were like, with the lightsabers, and not necessarily withholding to having flaws as well as being the good. I mean, the way he sort of explained it is, well, it's sort of having the sort of experiences of being sad and happy. It's like it's like a bushfire does havoc to the environment, but there are certain plants that can only germinate when they're being burnt. So you sort of got to have that sort of balance within the light side of the Force. And the dark side of the Force is absolute chaos. There's no order. There's nothing. It's like the light side of the Force is the yin and yang, and this is sort of what the Acolyte is doing with of having the yin and yang, as well as the dark side of the Force being absolute chaos. And this is what the Palpatine and his master, I forget his name, Plagueis, of them absolute chaos trying to like withhold. And that's what's interesting about the Stranger is he was a Jedi apprentice and was learning that, but he doesn't feel like a Sith. And he said, and he says himself, some people might call me a Sith. I wouldn't call myself that. And a lot of people are speculating that could this be the House of Ren sort of thing, like Force users, but not necessarily Sith Lords. They are like sort of like the Inquisitors, but withholding to no one. Sort of still Sith Lord, not Sith like adjacent, but they're sort of they want to do their own thing. And the Stranger says it in himself, I want to be left alone.
Yeah,
I don't want to be within this sort of confine of what the Jedi's are talking about. And yeah, I'm sort of getting more intrigued with that, and that's what modern Star Wars is sort of lacking, and that's what I thought, and I was thinking, yes, that's the reason why I like Last Jedi, the second movie of the prequel trilogy. Last Jedi?
Attack of the Clones?
No, sorry, of the sequel trilogy.
Last Jedi.
Last Jedi, where it was heading towards the sort of what the Jedi's weren't going to be, and they were sort of reject the past. It's sort of the Kylo Ren is like, yes, this is what I want to see. I want to see something different of them dealing with, but we got what we got, and saying no, it's Jedi's are good guys, Siths are bad guys. Let's do this cookie cutter sort of thing that we've seen so many times because this is comfortable. This is what we know, and the Acolyte are sort of changing that. So that's why I'm sort of kind of liking it because it's dealing with this sort of the Stranger, not necessarily being the villain. I mean, he is a villain because he's killing people. There's no excuse for that. And I'm not saying, oh, Thanos was right sort of shit.
No.
Or anything like that. But it's sort of more interesting. I'm more invested because this is more of a complex sort of characters. And this is what Star Wars sort of needs, like, right now. Instead of, like, the member berries of everything is like, yes, that's what we need. But,
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, that's really, really great. Yeah, well, I really liked pretty much everything that the Stranger had to say. Like, every single thing that came out of his mouth was like, you understood what he meant.
Yeah.
And none of it stirred.
Did you were you paying attention to his voice?
Somehow, yes.
There is a way.
Tell you what though, that part where he was like, "If you're not gonna join me, I would like to put my clothes back on." I'm just like, dude, just stop.
Yeah.
And then he gets out of the water anyway, and I was just like, all right, okay. The thirsting is happening. Anyway.
I thought of you.
Good.
After you were like fawning over his bare arms, and then he was taking off his shirt, and then what's that? Did I just hear an eruption?
Yeah, it wasn't Mount Etna. It was. It was me. Yes. No, I was well fed. I was well fed this week. There was some nice moments. Some bodies against rocks with lightsabers to throats and hands tenderly holding. Anyway, let's not go off track too much.
You liked what the Stranger was talking about.
I liked what he was talking about. Yes. Yeah, like one of the earliest things he says to Osha is the whole like, because she's holding his lightsaber hilt, like she hasn't activated it yet. And he's complimenting her stance and giving her direction and he's not being confrontational at all. Like, he seems very much at peace and totally okay and like very calm and collected. And I really liked how he said something to the effect of like, you know, you're like, you're wondering whether or not you should kill me in this, you know, as I'm unarmed, basically. And how it's like, in the heat of battle it would be justified, right? But hours, days later, it becomes vengeance, you know. Like, so the fact that he just starts laying this groundwork and all these seeds of like, you know, what's truly, you know, underneath everything, you know, kind of this whole forget what you know, what you've learned sort of mentality, of like, you know, this is a different. He's not saying he doesn't say no, the Jedi are wrong. He doesn't say their way is wrong. He doesn't say his way is right. He just says there is a different way to learn this stuff. You know, and I really like the fact, like the choices he makes with the words he says, and you know, that whole, and I kind of like how it brought up for me, you know, there's a whole thing with detachment and attachment in Jedi lore, I guess, and in, you know, relationship to the Force. And I found it really interesting that, you know, he's talking about, you know, he's trying to sell her on his beliefs and talking about these emotions and feelings that lay subconsciously underneath everything. And, you know, and Osha immediately just thinks it's, you know, this is the path to the dark side, you know. But then, you know, when they have that confrontation outside and he's getting at her about what happened, why aren't you a Jedi? You know, they abandoned you, and she's like, they didn't, you know, I failed, and all this stuff. And that whole exchange was great. And then him talking about how yeah, he lost everything because he was a, you know, a Jedi master, or he was a Padawan or something, you know, and he lost everything. And then he tells her, when you lose everything, you're finally free. And I find that really interesting because the Jedi sacrifice their attachments, you know, things, you know, strong emotional attachments, you know, partnerships with people, connections with people. Like, they very much have to separate their emotions from what they do. And then that's one way of like losing something and finding a freedom in that sense. But then the stranger is saying, if you don't have anything, like, he doesn't have any family or friends or anything, like, he's alone. It's just him and the Force, and he feels free at letting these emotions of, you know, of anger and desire and all this, you know, stuff that the Jedi teach to be bad. And he's saying that he's detached and he's free in a certain way. So I kind of liked how, you know, these two belief systems kind of have the same approach buried within, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both flawed and both, you know.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I always find it interesting with the detachments with the Jedi, like what we know now, considering. If they did have attachments, then Anakin didn't have to like hide the fact that he married Pamela, and all that. Maybe things would have happened differently, which is the fault for the Jedi, because maybe attachments aren't all bad. Maybe priests do deserve to get married, and all that.
Yes.
And that's also with Obi-Wan as well. With Clone Wars.
I forget her name.
Yeah, that storyline.
Yeah.
Very sad. Yeah, where was I going with this? Yeah, it's just fascinating where 100 years of dogma can change, and quite rapidly, and also just screw people over. And yeah, there are a lot of like, we can sort of see like the turning away from the Jedi Order and it turning into a benefit as well as a hindrance as well, like especially with Ahsoka and all that, of can't really trust the Jedis anymore, and where the Jedi Order was sort of taking them to their own downfall. It's very interesting. It's very interesting because, yeah, and it sort of makes sense where a lot of people were complaining of the Jedi's being sort of close knit and only turned into myth like very quickly because they sort of turned themselves into sort of martyrs for the cause, really. Like especially after Order 66 and how the Hoku religions aren't really match for blasters and that sort of thing. It's like, yeah, it's fallen into disrepute and all that. Makes sense. I'm just rambling at the moment.
That's okay. Rambling's fine.
Rambling man, rambling.
Rambling man. Yeah, and I think it kind of circles back to what you brought up about Ahmed Best talking about George Lucas's, approach that seems to have been lost with the Force, and how what balance truly means, and what the light side of the Force truly means. So, and yeah, like it's fascinating to talk about it and mention things like Anakin being, someone who, if he hadn't have been restrained by the Jedi, like if he hadn't have been, like he was someone who couldn't clearly live in that lifestyle.
No.
Could not live in that way. He was too powerful. And if he had just been allowed to, I suppose, live by the Jedi way, but live it in a different way that's not so restrictive, then maybe, yeah, like you said, things would have turned out differently for him.
Yeah, because Anakin's a very emotional boy. Like,
yes.
Losing his mum, I mean, we see it sort of here, like the Jedis take babies. So let's put that under the rug. But and saying, yeah, he's too old. We can't really train him because he's too old. He actually has an attachment to his mother. And yeah, and in Attack of the Clones, he finds out he went on a rampaging genocide of a native people. And he also killed younglings as well. So, and
yeah,
I always have a weird. No, I'm always very wary of people who say that Anakin's their favorite character. It's like, really? That guy? Sure, his upbringing was not great, but doesn't excuse the consequences of it. But he was the chosen one. Yeah, after he realized, oh yeah, this is my son, and he's talking real stuff. I'm gonna chuck this guy. I'm redeemed. No, you're not. And then he gets a fucking blue Jedi ghost. It's like, no, you don't get redeemed, sir. No, you're the worst character. Yeah, I said it. He's the worst character. Jedi's the best.
The most tragic character.
Yeah, tragic.
I would say. Yeah, tragic is a good word.
No one to be idolized to. If
Definitely not.
If you want idolization, Jar Jar Binks.
that kind of makes me want to talk about Master Soul a bit. Just because I'm really, really curious as to where things are going to go with his character, because he seems to be this
a tortured
Jedi.
soul.
He is a tortured soul. He's holding on to something. He's on the brink of telling May, what really happened on Brandok, and you know, he's hinting at he has to go back and tell the council, you know, finally tell them the truth. And so there's, you know, so these thoughts of something else, you know, the episode 3, what we saw, I feel like I'm, you know, getting closer to being justified in the idea of that's not actually what happened.
Yeah.
So I really like that. And whatever Sol's holding on to and how that's affecting him, and, you know, seeing him grieve the loss of his, not only his team, but, you know, Jackie and Yord, and just what that means, and how it just compounds everything that's he's feeling. And but for them to show us a Jedi of his caliber, on the verge of kind of giving into his feelings and his emotions so easily, like the way that scene right at the end, the last scene we got of him and May, and she's strapped on the bed, and he's like sitting across from her going, it's so funny. It made me think of the bear, because he's like, I've thought about what I would say to you if I ever saw you again. I thought that was funny.
16 years.
Yeah. But the way he said it, and the way, and you know, he's like, you're gonna listen. He's like, and I was just like, damn, all right, I'm listening. So yeah, there's this definite, I don't want to use the word darkness, but there's something in him that's clearly,
yeah,
I don't know, it's just different from the way the rest of the Jedi are portrayed in this show, the way Jedi are generally portrayed on the whole, you know? So yeah, so I'm really curious as to what that means, because they've been setting it up since episode 1.
Yeah.
You know, because clearly there might be some sort of switching, whether or not May stays good or comes good, and Osha becomes the acolyte, becomes the pupil, whatever that means. But I feel like there's definitely some potential here for Sol to either fall into the dark side, or whatever that means now in this context, or if he, you know, leaves the Jedi Order. Like, I don't know, something is very much on the precipice of exploding, I think, with him. What do you reckon?
There is a secret that is going to be unveiled, and it's been torturing him, and essentially he's the last one that knows, because all the other ones are dead. Jedi in that way, and which is interesting. Is how would the stranger know, or does he feel like your souls is being tortured? So I'm just gonna twist the knife a little bit more just to get his way. Yeah, it's yeah, it's gonna be good of how that. Yeah, this is the problem. We don't know what it's going to be. It could be something very, very bad, and it may to do with where the Jedi hides things and covers up things. I mean, a lot of videos are talking about how the Jedi in the prequels hid the fact that the clones were all created by, so we need to hide that from the council.
Yeah.
In a way, it's like,
yeah.
So you are prone to hide secrets. Is this going to be hiding of the secrets? And this is going to be the death march to your downfall of Order 66. Who knows? But it's getting us excited to watch. Can't wait. And it's been really good. Bit clunky, but it's been good. Is that the original answer to your question?
Sort of, yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe while you're talking, I remembered another point I wanted to bring up. And I haven't looked into it too much, but there was a lot of people reacting to the unknown planet that the stranger took Osha to.
Yes.
Um, I instantly saw it and I thought of Ahch-To,
Yeah.
the
Very
the
familiar.
Jedi. Yeah, the Jedi sort of planet, where the texts were and where Luke was in Last Jedi. Um, I think they've said it's not Ahch-To, which is fine. It makes sense, but at the same time, I also feel it's very deliberate then that if this is not Ahch-To, then and it's just an unknown random planet that we just don't know. But it looks so much like it. Like it has the exact same color palette, the exact same environment. I think that's very intentional.
Yeah.
To have that be the stranger's base of operations, because he's we found out his helmet's made of what, ketosis, I think it's what it's called. And you see in the episode, Osha notice that it's in the rock. So there's a reason why he's made his home here, because that stuff repels lightsabers, which I thought was really cool. But yeah, the fact that it looks so much like this location from the sequel movies that's supposed to be kind of mythic in terms of Jedi history. Yeah. And the fact that we're now exploring, different aspects of what the dark side means, or even what the light side means, with the stranger and Osha and whatever is going on with the two of them, on this planet. I don't know. I was bashing the writing earlier in the show, but but something like that's just kind of really piqued my interest quite a bit. And I did even see another fan theory about it maybe, and I don't subscribe to this, I will say, but some people even think it might be all in Osha's head, like he's using some kind of ability to like get in her head, and
They're all in a holodeck.
it's not, it's not real or something.
It's all a simulation.
It's all a simulation. It's all a vision.
Well,
I don't really.
There, or was there?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on the location?
Yeah. I think it was deliberate of calling it unknown. So maybe there's going to be an explanation by the end of where they actually are. Who knows? But dare I say, there are like there's more than one like desert planet, and thank God that Force Awakens introduced us to another desert planet. Can't be all on Tatooine. It's all different.
Yeah.
It's like, no, this is the water planet. This is the cloud planet. So yeah, it could be, but and it would be a lot more interesting on of it being in the same area, but but I think it is deliberate of it looking similar but not exact, and the creatures on it are different. There's no Porgs.
Yeah.
There's no Porgs.
There's no Porgs. Yes.
Or the fucking whale.
Space whales.
No, not space whales. The creatures that give.
Oh, the cows.
The cows that give the green milk.
Yeah.
And Luke's got milk. Squeeze. Nom, nom, nom. Is that really necessary? Anyway.
My brain with that is just reminded me that, like, I guess Star Wars always goes against this, I think, but I think this could just be a case of, like, if it is Ahch-To, it could just be a different side of the planet.
Yeah, true.
There's a whole ass planet.
Nah.
Star Wars forgets this, that planets are very big.
Yeah, they only got one graphical feature. Topographical feature. One
little bitty thing.
It's It's a planet of the woods. It's all woods. There's nothing else. Nothing else but wood.
Nothing else.
Yeah. But interesting.
Interesting indeed.
But I do like the sort of connected tissue that it does have with Last Jedi. The best Star Wars movie ever. Not hyperbole. Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, I will just add to Fulia's comments earlier about the ending with Osha putting the helmet on. It was a very powerful scene, and the fact that there's a little bit of score in the background, and no dialogue, and it's not rushed, and they just kind of hold on the moment for the right amount of time with the point of view of you inside the helmet with her, and just how narrow the slit of the eye is in it, and that just sensory deprivation, you really get a good sense for what that would be like to wear something like that. And yeah, and just to cut the way they edited it to cut to the breathing fading to black into the credits, like, was just very, very cool. I really, really liked it. And it feels kind of ominous, and it feels kind of like Osha might turn, I think.
I think the metaphor is there.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I'm really curious to see if she does, and if they do follow through with that, and how it's gonna play out over the next 2 episodes. And yeah, I'm very excited actually to see where it goes. Should be fun.
Yeah.
Should be fun. Any other thoughts, Mike, before we wrap up?
Yeah, and on the count that she had a costume change as well.
Yes.
She was wearing white, and then she's wearing black and grey.
Yeah, she's wearing grey.
But the stranger, he was wearing white.
Yes, he was.
What are you trying to do? You're trying to trick us? Remember, we're Star Wars fans. We can only be spoon-fed metaphors easily.
Yeah.
Good and bad. Blue and green lightsabers versus red lightsabers. If you got a red lightsaber, that means you're bad. Or bad.
Bad.
And if you got a white lightsaber, then you're in tune with the Force. Or yellow in this one. Speaking of which, whip lightsaber.
Yeah, which apparently is canon to Star Wars.
To that character, yeah.
That character Venestra, in the comics, which I didn't realize about at the time, and I was like, oh, lightsaber whip. Okay, interesting. She's got to be connected, I feel, to the stranger in some sense, because I watched this. I kind of get this vibe that there's a connection there, or there's definitely a connection between him and Sol, because he was last week like doing the whole don't you know me, remember me sort of thing. But like the scar on his back, the way it's kind of, it doesn't look like a proper lightsaber strike, I suppose. I don't know. So I'm wondering if Venestra might have been the one to leave that mark on him.
To whip it good.
Whip it good. Yeah. Did you like seeing the whip?
I liked it because it's Lucasfilm, and they do love to cross-pollinate with other things in their IP.
They do, yes.
I like the sort of homage to the first scene of Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Where you only see the back, and then you hear something, then take out the whip.
Yeah.
And stepping into the light. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. Yeah. Very, very nice. Cool. Well, I think that's everything.
I think we're done.
Really? Yeah. I think we are done. Holy crap.
Dunzos.
We did it.
Yes. Not too long.
Did it. Not too long. Under 2 hours. Made it through alive. That was awesome. Great discussion. A very good episode of The Acolyte. Teach/Corrupt. We have 2 more episodes to go with this show now. So things are going to be hopefully falling into place very nicely from here on out. I'm hoping for I probably won't get it, but I would really like some longer episodes. These last 2 episodes could be 45 minutes over. You know, I don't need hour-long episodes, but like just something a bit more substantial. Because that's been another one of my critiques of the show is that the episode run times are very short.
True.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a little bit of a nitpick, really, but I don't know. I feel like, you just really start kind of getting going, and then it's like, oh no, we're done.
Over.
Yes. So hopefully the last 2 episodes will be a little longer, but who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll find out next week.
I reckon next episode we'll find out what happened that night, and then this last episode we'll all come to terms with it.
Yes. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Yep. Very good. All right, those are our thoughts on episode 6 of The Acolyte, Teach/Corrupt. Which means that's popcorn culture done.
Tis.
And that is the podcast done for this week.
I reckon.
And we are out of here. So, are you ready? A 1, a 2, a you know what to do. And
that was a podcast called Fred.
Remember to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for the latest Fred content.
If you like to listen to Fred the Alien, you can find us on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. If you like to watch Fred the Alien, head on over to our youtube.com/Fred the Alien Productions. And if you're watching the Twitch right now, give us a follow. And if you're on the YouTube live at the moment, remember to hit the bell icon and subscribe. And then hit the bell icon so you can keep yourself up to date with all our content.
Yes! I've been a Kendall Richardson.
And I've been the whiplashed himself, a Michael Lister. And you just experienced a podcast called Fred.
Remember to eat beef.
Remember, Freddy lives, Loki dies, the Doctor is in, and whip it good. Copyright music.
Yes. Look after yourself and your mental health. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Laters, agators.
and
See